Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk. We're going to talk about parenting issues and challenges, and I just have a few things I wanted to share and offer some ideas of how to work through these challenges and issues that we do face. Um, and also, I'm going to also put in the comments. I'll put links to two of my favorite podcasts on parenting that have totally changed the way that I try to respond and interact with my kids, and have been really, really helpful because I'm always learning and growing. And I think that it's something important to understand is we need to give ourselves that grace that we're still learning as we go. And as our kids hit a new milestone, a new developmental change, we just don't know how to handle it sometimes. It's new territory. And so giving ourselves that grace that we're going to make mistakes, we're going to have our awkward phase of trying to figure things out, and it's going to be okay. We're not going to permanently ruin our kids as long as we are really trying to learn from it and to build that connection and restore and repair. um, it's going to be okay in the end. So we have to think the long game, with our kids a lot of times, that we got it wrong this time. Let's try again tomorrow and we'll do better. So when it comes to parenting, I think the biggest thing that I'm learning as a mother, and I have 6 kids, there's a lot of them. One of me, one of my husband. Sometimes we feel outnumbered and overwhelmed, and sometimes things feel great, So it's just like the ocean. We've got these tides that ebbs and flows, and we do really well, and then we spectacularly make a major blunder and have to recover. So when it comes to parenting, the thing that we want to be aware of is our nervous system state, and if we feel safe or if we feel threatened by something about our kids' behavior, the way that they talk to us, or things that they're choosing to do, or just the stage of life they're in. Toddlers making messes can feel very threatening to our well-being when we have to keep picking up and wiping up and sweeping up the broken pieces and throwing the thing away and just like, oh. So I've been there. I'm sure all of you have. So noticing what is causing you to feel unsafe, and then why is that making you feel unsafe? I think that's a very critical point, that when you start to analyze yourself. Why am I getting angry? My nervous system is getting activated. And okay, well, that means I've been triggered. My brain thinks something is dangerous. So what is it? Are they being what I think is disrespectful? Or do I think that they are being irresponsible, or they should cooperate because that's what kids should do? We're feeling a threat of some kind. Why is that a threat? So, I mean, put in the comments, why do you think that could be something that we as moms, we take as a threat when our kids are not cooperating, or they're not doing what we want them to do? They're 5 and we're like, put on your shoes, we're going to leave. And 10 minutes later, they still don't have their shoes on. Why is that? Are they doing that on purpose? And sometimes our brain goes to that. They're purposely trying to make me mad. But why do we go through this? We have to, the more that we're able to analyze, because when you get into your thinking brain, then your nervous system can actually relax, and you can start to process and analyze, and put things in better perspective. Well, he's 5. 5-year-olds, they're not supposed to be perfectly militant little soldiers that just do what we want all the time. Okay, so we can calm ourselves down and say, are my expectations reasonable? So 5-year-olds, they don't want to stop playing to put on their shoes. Totally normal. That's just what they're going to do. So then as a mom, I can start to think, okay, I can give them advance notice. Okay, in 10 minutes, we're going to park your cars in their little garage, and we're going to go find your shoes because we get to go somewhere in the car. Turn it into something that their brain's like, ooh, dopamine. I want to go do that thing. Um, so, uh, so that was the thing, like the major thing that I'm realizing is, why do I feel triggered? It's not always about my child. It's not always about what they said or did. It's how I'm interpreting and internalizing it. I'm giving it meaning. And from my own experience as a mom, I know that the meaning is more painful when I turn it into something about my worth as a woman or a mother and my capacity to be a mother. That's where it stabs the hardest and deepest. So I'm sure you've had that experience. You are struggling, you don't know what to do, you're having a hard time getting your child to cooperate, and that must mean evidence that I am not a good mom or I'm not cut out for this. And that's really painful. But so, moms, I get you, I hear you. Notice the talking that's going on inside of you, that self talk. When your child is not cooperating, are you starting to tell yourself, I'm not a good mom? I'm not cut out for this. And this is exactly the words I've used at times in my life because I was overwhelmed and I didn't have that feeling of safety in my nervous system. And I didn't understand my nervous system at all. So then I let that just take over. But those were my words that I would say when I had three little boys all in a row, and then I had a fourth baby, another boy, and it just felt like chaos. It felt so hard to manage these very curious, very active, very interesting, are interested in everything little boys, and I just felt so overwhelmed. And I wasn't getting sleep. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't regulating myself. I didn't know anything about that. And so when I was triggered, I would think, I'm a bad mom. I can't handle this. I I'm not cut out for this. God made a mistake letting me be a mom. Now, how could I destroy myself more than that? It's painful to feel like you don't have capacity. That's very painful. Um, I remember talking to my mom and just saying, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. And she would say, don't worry. You'll grow into it. You'll grow into it. And she had five kids. So there are five kids in my family growing up. I'm the third of five. And we had a wonderful childhood. We grew up overseas. We did a lot of traveling. We got to do a lot of outside exploration. My parents were very fun and adventurous people and loving and nurturing. Just so much praise for them. I had a beautiful childhood. And so then coming into it myself, thinking, how did my mom do it so easily? And she would probably say now to me, if I pulled her on right now, she'd be like, no, that wasn't easy. It was not easy. But my memories, I'm only remembering these wonderful moments. Um, but I just loved that advice that she had. You'll grow into it. Don't worry. I think at the time when she first was saying that to me, I had one or two, and I was just like, oh, this is a lot. Well, I went on to have more kids and more kids and more kids. So I have six altogether, five boys and a girl. And I did grow into it. I'm still making major blunders all the time. Not every day, all the time, but often I make big, big mistakes. But the thing that I've been taking into myself is, ooh, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I learn? Because the feedback I'm getting has truth in it. Whatever my child's saying, there's truth in there. So, what can I learn from that? Okay, I see this. Okay, I could have done that differently. Oh, I should not have said that. And when we take the time to analyze, take in their feedback, okay, that's really how you feel. Okay, what can I find that's a nugget of truth that I can take in, not to beat myself up, but to say, because I have capacity to grow and get better at this, their feedback is gold. I want to be a great mom. I want to do the best that I can. Their feedback is going to tell me how to do that. So when my 5-year-old would throw a fit, so it was time to put on shoes and time to go, instead of telling myself, because I can't control this child and make him do the thing I want to do, that means I'm a bad mom. No, instead I could say, because I'm a learning and growing mom, and I have capacity to get better at this, what am I going to do to help my child think this is fun or it's okay, that their nervous system doesn't have to be freaking out either? I can be that calming influence and say, oh, in 10 minutes, we're going to go to the store or we're going to go to the park. and the store. Don't say the store part. Or at the store, I'm going to give you two little tickets, and you get to pick two treats or one, whatever you want to do. You can, when you have the lenses on your eyes, like you're putting on some special glasses that give you the lens of safety. I'm safe. It's okay if I make mistakes. It's okay for my child to act up. That's just their nervous system responding to whatever I've asked them to do that they feel is a threat. That's their nervous system. So I can help to create safety in them. I can't force it to happen, but I can have a lot of influence by using a calm tone, by looking in the eyes, by thinking ahead for myself to be better planned, better prepared. So a lot of times I might need to go put things in the car ahead of time so that it's just their body. I need to get in the car next. um, but creating that sense of safety and resilience within myself. I am a good mom. I am a learning and growing mom. I'm going to make mistakes today. I'm going to make mistakes tomorrow. But because I know I can get better, I'm going to take in all the feedback and help it teach me how I can get a little better at this. Just like anything else, these are skills. Learning how to interact, learning how to read someone. What condition are they in? What's their nervous system state right now? Is this the best time to bring up a criticism? Or, I mean, we have to correct, right? We have to correct, we have to teach. But we can learn to look at our kids, see, is this the best time for it? Are they going to be open to it? Or do I need to do some other connecting kinds of things like, hey, how are you? Or if they're the type that want to be touched, give them a hug and just wrap your arm around them before you have to bring anything else up. So parenting, it's this very complicated dance. It's very complex and we're trying to do our best. But the number one thing is to create that feeling of safety within ourselves, that when we do make mistakes, when our child isn't doing cooperating as easily as we want them to, but we first say to ourselves, I am a good mom. I'm good inside. That's why it hurts when I make a mistake, because I'm good and I don't like hurting anybody. That's proof that I'm a good person. And so because it hurts, then I want to repair. And because I have capacity to grow, I can learn. I can learn from all of my mistakes. I don't have to beat myself up when I make them. So we get into patterns, right? Sometimes we get into patterns and cycles, and they can be really hard to break. There can be issues or specific family dynamics or family rules that are constantly a trigger in our families, and trying to keep status quo. We just want it to be peaceful. We just want everything to go easily, and I can just glide along in my 1950s lifestyle and everything's fine and everybody's got their faces washed and they're ready at the table and we all sit down and hold hands and pray. Wouldn't that be nice? But actually, if it were like that, we would not grow. If it were easy all the time, our brains would not become more creative and more resilient and more incredible if it were easy all the time. So take a big breath with that. And I want to point out too that just breathing is a powerful way to help your body and your brain to calm down. So we grew up, I think a lot of you who are my age or older, you heard that all the time. If you're feeling angry, count to 10. And that's part of it. That really does. So whenever we can change the focus of our brain, what it's like zeroing in on, even counting, you have to think. And don't start at 1 to 10, start at like 17, which is not as easy. You have to really kind of like 17, 18, 19, 20, or start at 327, like start somewhere else. 1 to 10 is so easy to us by now, but like get your brain thinking, calculating, working, then your survival brain starts to calm down. That's your fight or flight and freeze. The freak out mode is down there. But up here is the thinking and reasoning. And that's what turns off when your survival center is driving the bus. So, like literally counting and then breathing. Okay. And try it with me, because just that inhale and then twice as long exhale, it calms the body, it relaxes the muscles, it slows your heart rate. And all of that is going to send the signal up through your vagus nerve to your brain. I'm okay. I'm not being chased by a lion right now. I really am not in danger. I'm okay. It's just my child is having a tantrum. Okay. Now that my body is calm, my brain, thinking brain comes back on. Now I'm going to be creative on how to build connection with my child instead of staying in anger, staying in irritation, staying in overwhelm and anxiety and depression. The breathing. How many of you like to go for walks? How many of you like to ride bikes or just be outside? I know it can be hard to find time, especially if you're a working mom. It's really hard. You have a really busy schedule, and it's very set for you. If you have to be at a job, you've got those specific hours, and then it's dark, and you have to get the kids dinner and put them to bed. And then when do you get out and exercise, right? So my offer too is for you to think, taking care of myself will help me to be a better learning and growing mom. So if that's really important, just as important as brushing my teeth, eating some food, drinking water, taking a shower, and getting exercise is just as important. How am I going to schedule that in? You'll find ways. The more that you think, I want to do that because I want to be a learning and growing mom and embrace my role and who I am. And so just like you make time for a shower, it works out. Not every day, probably. When I was a stay-at-home mom with babies and toddlers, I didn't get a shower every single day. So I understand that. But I made time to eat. I always went to the bathroom at some point, right? So the more that you give something a weight of priority, then it becomes something that you do make time for, and you make a way to make it happen. Our brains are so amazing. We really can think and create and problem solve in so many ways that we, at the time, we might feel stuck. We might feel like this is impossible. There is absolutely no way. Every time we tell ourselves that, though, our brain's like, true, stop being creative, turn the factory, shut down the factory of creativity, because there's no possible solution. And I've been there. So, but when you open up the factory and you say, there's got to be a way, let me see if I can find it. And for me at times it was getting up at 5:30 in the morning and doing a dumbbell workout on watching a YouTube video. And that's great. I got rid of all my joint pain by doing that. It was incredible. After I had my sixth baby, I had so much joint pain, and just getting up at 5:30 in the morning to do these dumbbell workouts, HasFit, Solidarity, that helped me so much get rid of joint pain. So it did mean making a sacrifice to get up a little bit earlier, get myself to go to bed a little bit earlier. But the point being that the more that you want to take care of yourself so that you can show up better and take in feedback more resiliently and with more hope and openness, you're going to find a way to make it work, and it won't feel like drudgery. It'll actually feel really good because it's supporting your intention that you have of being a growing and learning mom. You're not alone. You are totally normal if you're feeling sad, overwhelmed, discouraged. Totally normal. You're a human being. But we want to help you to work through it and not stay there. So we'll learn the lessons that we need to from those emotions, process them, and move forward, believing in yourself that you are a learning and growing mother and you have that capacity. Past, we're going to be learning. Present, we're planning. Future, we're creating. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so it's wonderful. I hope that you got something good out of this. I have lots of experience of making lots of mistakes and lots of experience too with getting it right at times. Small moments that just like, oh, that went really well. So look for your good moments and pat yourself on the back and tell yourself, hey, I did a good job with that. I didn't get upset. Look how well I handled that. That's part of learning. You've got to tell yourself when you're doing the right thing and acknowledge it. Your brain will capitalize on that and say, oh, that was good. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So keep telling yourself you're a good, learning, growing mom. Notice your good moments. Pat yourself on the back. Share it with somebody. Put it on Facebook. Hey, I did a great learning and growing mom moment. I did this. Instead of being upset, I found this great way to help my child. So anyways, thanks everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye.